9 minutes before 8. We'll pick up on our conversation concerning Cressida Dick's departure and, of course, the hunt to find the new man or woman to take the job in just a moment. But to other stories. And as of 4 o'clock this morning, all testing requirements were removed for eligible, fully vaccinated arrivals and a simply known as a PLF, or as I know it, a locator form, ahead of half-term. So if you are fortunate enough, you're able to get the time off work, and let's be honest, some of you, of course, have had a bit of a struggle through COVID, but if you've got some cash and you're getting away, it would appear the government's trying to make it a little bit easier for you. Let's get more detail now from Aviation, Maritime and Security Minister Robert Courts, who joins me. What does this mean for my listeners and indeed for your voters? Good morning, Minister.
Morning. This has been a long time coming. We've had a very difficult time both for the travel industry and for people who rely on travel, so people who need to go on holiday, people who need to work on their businesses, people who haven't seen their friends and family for so long. So this has been a long road, but due to the success of the vaccination programme, I'm really glad to be able to bring you this news this morning that we are taking the trouble out of travel. We are making it much simpler for people to be able to get about, to go on holiday and to see all those friends. And so you're absolutely right. If you are fully vaccinated, you are seeing the removal of nearly all restrictions today, with the exception of the passenger locator form, which is itself, in fact, much simplified. And that's needed for now just to make sure that we have that little bit of security of who's coming in and out of the country.
And just for my listeners, at what age does this happen? What age is a child not required for these, Minister?
So this covers everybody now. This is something that applies across the board, so it's much easier for families.
OK, but children haven't had all their vaccinations or boosters, have they, as yet, Minister?
So there's a further rollout that has been included within the NHS digital app, which will enable there to be some security to help with families as well.
OK, and what is its hope that this will bring about for the tourism industry?
So it's really hoped that this will give the tourism industry the ability that people can book with confidence. People can see that the holidays are back, that the UK is open for business, that whilst people should, of course, always take some sensible steps around making sure they have travel insurance, making sure they've looked at the situation in the country that they're hoping to travel to, but the tourism industry should now be able to welcome people back as people get out and about and travel as an interconnected country and an interconnected world.
One question from a listener, Shirley in Croydon, says, my son works in the aviation sector. The government's not done enough to keep their jobs safe. You are aviation minister. How would you respond?
Well, firstly, look, Shirley, I understand this has been an exceptionally difficult time, and nobody regrets more than me the fact that we've had to take the steps we've had. But this has been a public health emergency, and I think the public will always expect us to protect public health. But there's a number of things we've done to help. And above all, the biggest thing is the vaccination rollout. That being able to get people travelling again is the most important thing that we can do to help the travel sector. And that's why I'm so pleased today to be able to say to everyone, we're taking the trouble out of travel. People can book with confidence. People can get out and see friends and family and enjoy those holidays.
But how many jobs have been lost in aviation, Minister? Are you aware?
So I don't have the exact figure, but clearly this has been a difficult, very difficult period for the aviation sector. There's no two ways about that.
How many people work in the aviation sector?
So it's thousands and thousands across the whole of the UK.
What's thousands and thousands? I mean, 10,000, 20,000. I mean, what is the number?
There's tens of thousands. I don't have the exact figure at my fingertips right now.
You're the Minister for Aviation. Shouldn't you have the figure?
Well, look, the key thing today is to make sure that people realise that they can get out and travel again. That is the most important thing.
How long have you been in post?
The aviation sector.
How long have you been in post?
So about 18 months.
Right. So to the nearest 10,000, the aviation sector, how many are employed in that?
So the exact figure I don't have at my fingertips now. It, of course,
so you've been in post for 18 months. You're the Minister for Aviation, and you've no idea how many people work in your sector. Why might that be?
So the figure itself will always change. It will change because
just give me to the nearest 10,000.
The figure will always change because of things like furlough, because of how the sector is doing at the time. But the key thing to focus on today is this is a big step forward.
No, I hear that.
Because of the success that we have, people can now book with confidence, and that is the most helpful.
I mean, I'm just thinking of my listener whose son works in the sector. So I had a quick look to see how many people work. It's extraordinary that a radio presenter knows more about the sector than the government minister, isn't it?
Well, I hadn't checked the figure before I came on the programme today.
We've had 18 months.
Clearly, this is a vitally important sector for the whole of the country.
It's 341,000, so there we are, I'll give you the number. When a former Prime Minister says of the current Prime Minister, he's trying to make us believe the unbelievable, brazen excuses were dreamed up, the public was deceived, how do you respond to Sir John Major's charges, Minister?
Well, look, this is clearly something that has caused great public upset, and I understand that entirely. But the key thing is that the Prime Minister has made the right decisions at the right times throughout this pandemic. So things like setting up testing capacity from scratch, rolling out the vaccines, which is why I've been able to bring this amazing news to you today of the removal of travel restrictions. That is the key record that the Prime Minister has, which is something that is getting the right decisions, the big decisions right at the right times throughout the pandemic. So
clearly you and your colleagues have been working very hard in your department. Can I just refer you to the Home Office? It would appear that your senior colleague Priti Patel was totally unaware that the Commissioner of the Met was about to be handed her cards by the London Mayor Sadiq Khan. Why would that be? Why did the Home Secretary know nothing?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say on this is just to pay tribute to the 40 years worth of public service that Dame Cressida Dick has. It's been an extremely challenging time, of course, for her. She's the first woman to hold the role. She's done great work in making the Met more diverse and making sure that it is able to better represent the people of London. But clearly,
do you think London's safer? I appreciate you're not an MP within London, but do you feel safer when you're in the city? Do you think London's safer, Minister?
Well, there's clearly also some challenges. That's the other point I'm keen to make. There's a number of areas of public disquiet, and that clearly has to be addressed as well. So I think it's a shame that this has been handled the way that it has been by the mayor, simply because we understood that she was going to have a matter of weeks to bring the plan forward. It turns out that was a much shorter period. So that's a shame, but clearly the relationship had broken down. And we have to look forward now. So we need to look forward to resolving the concerns that the people of London have.
Thank you for sharing the good news to my listeners who want to get away. That it kicked in as of 4 o'clock this morning. Robert Courts is Aviation, Maritime and Security Minister. Thank you for your time. 2 minutes before 8 is the time here. Let's come back to that conversation about Dame Cressida. George in Tottenham. George, your reaction to the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Fantastic show. You're absolutely correct what's happened. She hasn't curbed xenophobia. She hasn't curbed anything to do with anti-Semitism. People don't feel safer in London.